All right, welcome back to Flex Talks, the podcast, episode 254. Today on the show, another shooting, this time at Florida State. We're going to go over the details there. Then we have some new statements from Karmelo Anthony's low IQ lawyer that are going to make your blood boil. Then after that, in Cringe of the Week, we show you how online gambling is hijacking young men's dopamine. Lots to talk about there. And last but not least, in Urban Decay, we have a new incident caught on bodycam, as well as a bunch of murders and attacks that you didn't hear about this week because the perpetrators were black. All this and more, it's Flex Talks, the podcast, episode 254, ranked the best news podcast of all time.
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words, but at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Flex Talks, the podcast featuring Richard Grabboy.
Guys, when it comes to gear that can handle anything, there's no better choice than Undertac. Designed for and tested by an elite forces team in Africa's harshest conditions, Undertac is made to perform when it matters most. Whether you're navigating through tough terrain or just tackling your day, their underwear, socks, and shirts keep you dry and comfortable and mission ready. Made from premium materials like Modal, which is 50% more moisture wicking than cotton, Undertac offers tactical performance that goes beyond the basics. From the ultra-comfortable boxer briefs to the American-made battle-weave merino socks, you'll feel the difference. And don't forget their hoodies and EDC t-shirts, which are rugged enough for anything, but also comfortable enough for everyday activities. Go to undertac.com, that's undertac.com today, and use code FLECUS20 for 20% off site-wide. So whether you're gearing up for an adventure or just need some stuff for everyday life, Undertac has your back. And the best part, a portion of all profits goes to veteran groups fighting human trafficking. It's a full 360 win. Undertac.com is the website. FLECUS20 is the code for 20% off. Thank you to Undertac for sponsoring. Now let's get into Cringe. All right. Thank you to Undertac for sponsoring.
Thank you, Undertac.
Love their clothes. I'm constantly wearing them. Can't thank Undertac enough. Okay. Happy Friday, everybody. Kind of an intense week. I'm looking at the script, and the show is not very funny today.
Start putting the assets together, and a lot of people getting absolutely beat up and shit that makes you so mad, and I don't know. We're going to try to have fun with it, though. Should we get to the school shooting?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's fucking the tone of this episode.
And Urban Decay is packed full of like horrible, horrible, violent stories that are going to make everyone mad. So we're going to try to have a good attitude about it. And it is Friday.
Yeah.
But not your typical Friday episode. It's a little more intense.
Yeah. Would you say it's like a Tuesday episode or a new third category that nobody knows anything about?
It's a new third category.
Okay.
All right. Well, our first story is the Florida State shooting. Details are coming out now. Last time we checked, it was 5 dead, 4 injured, 2 shooters. One of them is dead. The clip I really wanted to show was very telling and I think very insightful to the current situation in America and how everyone's feeling. There's a dead body on the ground. We obviously had to blur it.
Or severely injured. We don't even.
Or severely injured. And then someone's walking by, and look what happens. And they walk by the body on the ground. They don't try to help. They don't see if they're okay or breathing. They just take a sip of their
iced coffee from Starbucks.
Their Starbucks vanilla latte.
Another day in America, and you see the color of the hand. It is an African-American type hand. And I don't know. It just kind of rubs me the wrong way. The walking past, the not a care in the world. Like, it's not someone you should be worried about.
Yeah, because the victim is white. I'm going to say that. That's what I think it is.
It's definitely part of it. There's no common link. Like, I have nothing to do with that. It could be a student. It doesn't matter.
They probably deserved it.
I don't know if that goes that far, but it's a poor, tasteless thing, and it's very messed up.
And it's more evidence of humanity being gone from our culture.
Yeah.
Everyone's so divided, and tribalism is at an all-time high. You see a dead fellow student or very injured fellow student on the ground, and you just drink your coffee and keep going. Not my problem, I guess.
You film it like you have content brain. You're like, oh, content. It's like a Black Mirror type episode.
Yeah, it's very dystopian.
Yeah.
And there's a picture from an attack in Europe that I thought was the same energy.
Yeah.
Just person walking by on their phone as someone's on the ground, like probably bleeding out.
Yeah.
It's very sad stuff.
Yeah, I guess people do have to walk by, though. At a certain point, there's 6 people around, what do you do? But the optics are bad, right? And it kind of rubs you the wrong way, that's all.
Definitely rubs you the wrong way. All right, let's get to our next story. 4chan. You guys know 4chan. A lot of our content comes from there. A lot of stories start there. Turns out 4chan the whole time was a honeypot.
Yeah, 4chan got hacked. I think it's still currently down, and there's some details that came out after the hack, which revealed the top posting countries. And Israel has like 2 times the posts of the United States, 3 times some of the other countries. And Americans kind of use it the most, I would say, until this leak happened. And Israel is a country of about 10 million people. The U.S., 330, 350 if we're counting the illegals, which are here, which we are. They don't go on 4chan, though.
Exactly. And then the equivalent is like, if you were to prorate this or whatever the word is, it's equivalent of like each Israeli person posting 20 times, which doesn't make sense to me, doesn't really ring true. And on 4chan, there's a lot of demoralization stuff. There's a lot of anti-white content, a lot of schlop in general. So kind of makes sense that it got hijacked and became a honeypot.
There's also a lot of racist content on 4chan as well. So it goes both ways, but then there's also a lot of like semi-gay stuff that's going on there, tranny-related porn, some disgusting shit that maybe they want to inject in. But I think this is one of those things, we were talking about it before the show aired, and I think this is one of those websites that like, if you get popular enough, you become the target of an attack, like of a swatting online where you just go, okay, we need to flood that with information. So I don't know how long that's been going on, but it was very interesting to see.
Exactly. Once something gets popular and it's like natural and organic, then it gets subverted and taken over and then completely over time hijacked.
Do you guys remember Reddit during the 2016 election, like in late 2015 and stuff? How there was that subreddit, that pro-Trump subreddit, and they would have stuff going to the front page of the whole website every day. They basically fortified Reddit, and now it's completely locked down and run by extremely political people who delete comments, delete posts on things that they don't want to talk about, right?
Exactly. And then there was someone who posted about it who had some insider knowledge, and I thought it was very telling as well. Can you give that a read?
Fun story about 4chan. The creator, Moot, was hired by Google. I went to go visit him. Turns out he doesn't exist. No desk, no code submissions, no badges. They're automatic when you do orientation. Nothing. The whole thing was an intelligence op from the start. And this guy's some sort of Google whistleblower.
Yeah. So that's interesting. That's something to think about, especially if you guys go on it. I think that's where QAnon, right? Isn't that where QAnon was posting? 4chan?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to get into that. But the point is that there's valuable real estate on the internet. And there's only so many places everybody goes to. And all of those places end up being contested with misinformation or someone else's angle. And it's governments or organizations spending a lot of money and time to get a specific message out. Marketing, a combination of all of these things that kind of commercialize and turn it into slop. So you really have a certain website, there's kind of a golden era, and then there's the monetization slop era that comes afterwards.
That's a good point.
So,
all right, let's get into our own political section. Democrat approval rating is very bad right now. Those that approve, 29%. Those that disapprove, 62%, according to a UMass poll.
and that's just one random poll, but that's kind of matching what I'm seeing on the street.
Yeah, that rings true to me.
What are you seeing on the street?
Yeah, I'm seeing something similar, yeah.
And I've seen some progressives, like the progressive wing of the Democrat Party. They're still rallying and pretending what they're up to is important and moving the needle. But as we've seen for national elections, that meat and potatoes middle section, I don't think they're going along with it anymore. So the progressives can spin in their own lane, but I don't think the normies in the center is open to it anymore.
I agree. And another example of that and a reason why so many normies are leaving, the Democrats' top 4 heroes in America right now. Can you give that a read?
A murderer named Luigi, gun. A murderer named Karmelo, butcher knife. An MS-13 illegal gang member, the one who they're fighting to get undeported from El Salvador. and a Palestinian Hamas supporter who also got snatched and grabbed by ICE and dismissed.
Yeah. So young people especially are going right. And when this is who the Democrats kind of gather around, it really is revealing. And I've said this before when I used to do the Man on the Street videos. People are starting to realize that liberals have more in common with MAGA than they do with leftists.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a psyop to think that liberals and leftists are on the same side because they're on the same left versus right side, but they're actually not. And people are starting to realize that more and more. And the mainstream media is catering to the leftists with their rhetoric and the stories they cover and the angles and the anti-whiteness. And we actually have a compilation here of just CNN being pretty much anti-American.
Here's a breaking news. We live in a racist, sexist, homophobic, Islamophobic, anti-Semitic country.
Everything they're doing runs against making America great.
Well,
it was never great, so I'm not going to say the again part, but making America great.
Kicking off the Independence Day weekend, President Trump will be at Mount Rushmore, where he'll be standing in front of a monument of 2 slave owners and on land wrestled away from Native Americans, told that be focusing on the effort to, quote, tear down our country's history.
They strongly believe, these human smugglers, that this is their chance to enter the United States. This is their chance at the American dream. That's why they risk everything, only to find out that it's all a lie.
Yeah, so when you talk like that all day,
Stolen land, slave owners, the human smugglers. Think about the human smugglers.
and you get surprised why people start going right, and then they just keep doubling down instead of changing, I think it's going to be a good thing long term because there's going to be less and less people who want to even watch that.
Yeah, and we're going to get into it a little more later in the Karmelo Anthony section. Do you think that's a left-wide support? Have they been supporting them, or is that more black only?
I think it's left and black.
Okay.
I think it's kind of both. That's like a double Venn diagram.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So Democrats obviously have their own issues, but I'm not too happy with Republicans lately either. I don't feel like we're getting a lot done. It's been a few months now, and there's no arrests, there's no charges, there's no people leaving in handcuffs. One of the people I'm actually disappointed in is Kristi Noem, the head of Department of Homeland Security. I feel like all these posts and photos I'm seeing of her, she's in glam makeup with her hair done, with extensions, with her nails done, getting her eyelashes done.
She's checking with her secretary. Can I get in a vest today? Can I get in a picture today? Is there an illegal that we have in custody? Can I get next to him?
Yeah.
I just got my hair done, right?
It seems like there's a lot of photo ops, and I don't like the idea of like our DHS head has an appointment to get her eyebrows tinted. And
And
like
like-
just put Tom Homan in charge of this?
I know. Give him extra responsibilities. And I just know there's some little rule or thing or some bureaucrat within DHS who has this loophole that they're just kind of hoping nobody finds. And then they're like, oh my God, Kristi Noem went out on the street again today. Yes! Nobody's looking at the documents, which is letting XYZ happen in our country. I just know there's some bodies buried in the paperwork that is DHS. And then if we're getting photo ops and stuff like that, I mean, it's cool for every once in a while, but who are you really talking to, right? We got another guy off the street, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, these individually violent illegal immigrants who are getting off the street, I kind of am numb to that now. And I want to hear like numbers. I want to hear round numbers. We just hit 100,000. We're on pace for 1 million.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff I'm looking forward to hearing. Not like I'm here with Luis Castillo, whatever, and he used to deal fentanyl to people. Like, yeah, that's good for a little rah-rah.
Yeah, he's one guy, and I'm the head of the department, and we got this guy.
And there's 25 people here. Like, I really need mass deportations now.
Yeah,
right?
and that goes for Kash Patel, too. Like, I like Kash Patel, but he was always saying, oh, day one, I know where the bodies are buried. Day one, there's going to be a change, taking the whole thing down, dismantle the department. I haven't heard anything from him. And then Pam Bondi, I'm not a huge fan of, and I'm disappointed in her, but I've always been disappointed in her since the Epstein files. And what has she done? She arrested a person who did an anti-Israel protest.
She goes on the news a lot.
And she goes on Fox News and drinks wine.
A lot of hit pieces. And Kash Patel, I guess we should give him time because FBI's investigations probably take a little bit longer. Who knows what he's doing behind the scenes? So there's a little more grace for Kash.
Yeah.
But Kristi Noem, come on, get back behind the office. Get nerds. Ask to borrow some of the Doge people, you know?
Yeah.
There's a certain level of applying what you've seen work in this administration towards your own individual departments. You know there's people absolutely nestled into the DHS who are like, okay, I'm going to subvert it. I'm still subverting it. It's still working. So we got a clean house. Don't worry about how things look on Instagram. We'll know you're doing your job when we see those cumulative numbers start ticking up.
Yeah,
right?
let's get cooking a little bit, everybody. Yep. It's been a few months. It's time to start cooking.
Yep.
All right, next we have some new stats about autism and the autism rate from RFK. Listen to what he says, specifically in California. It really blew my mind.
The ASD prevalence rate in 8-year-olds is now 1 in 31. Shocking. There's an extreme risk for boys. Overall, the risk for boys of getting an autism diagnosis in this country is now 1 in 20. And as high in California, which has the best data collection. So it probably also reflects the national trend, 1 in 12.5 boys. This is part of an unrelenting upward trend. The prevalence 2 years ago was 1 in 36. Since the first ADDM report in 1990, which was 1992 births, autism has increased by a factor of 4.8. That's 480%, I believe. The first ADDM survey was 22 years ago when prevalence was 1 in 150 children. In all the core states, the trend is consistently upward.
We get it.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep listening to him. But yeah, the trend is not looking good. 1 in 12.5 for boys in California. And then if you ask like the left or the people who think that we're conspiracy theorists, they'll say, well, they do more testing for autism and the spectrum is expanded, as if you don't see it in your real life every day. You see someone who's autistic and it's not like it was when you grew up. It's not like it was 10 or 20 years ago. It's every single day you see people who are a little cooked.
Yeah, and there is definitely a piece of it where people are like looking for a diagnosis, kind of like having a trans kid.
Yeah.
There's definitely some weird mommy thing going on, but it's obviously increasing regardless of that, and some people are very cooked.
Yeah.
There's degrees of cooked, right? They call it the spectrum.
Yeah,
And
boomers didn't have kids like this.
And some people are getting really smoked. And so did you watch any more of that press conference? Was there anything else that he kind of said? Did he name the causes? Did he?
He didn't name the causes, and I kind of know some of the causes, and he actually promoted some of the causes a few weeks ago, which is weird. So hopefully in September he has an extensive list, like he promised, of everything causing the autism.
Okay.
All right, let's check in with an old favorite of ours, an all-star, someone we haven't seen a lot lately, Joe Biden. He did a speech the other day, and this is how it started.
Thank you.
Still got it, right where we left him.
So he just starts hitting his lines while the play-on music is still going. Poor Joe.
Poor Joe. During the intro, he just tried his best. He's a little loud.
And I feel like if you get retired during an election, you don't need to keep stumping.
Yeah, showing up in a suit, you don't help with anything.
Yeah, you don't help with anyone. It's beach time, Joe. It's golf.
And it was beach time while you were the president, so just keep doing that. Yeah. All right, next we have a story. Letitia James, who tried to prosecute Trump, the New York Attorney General. She is in some hot water herself. Can you read that headline, please?
Yeah, the Trump administration seeks criminal prosecution of New York Attorney General, and it's about mortgage fraud. Donald Trump's admin is accusing Letitia James of mortgage fraud and has made a criminal referral to the Justice Department seeking federal prosecution. So it's just a referral at this point. Charges have not been brought. Officials with the Federal Housing Finance Agency allege James falsified bank and property records to receive better loan agreements. And Letitia James, since no charges have been filed, her office has accused the Trump administration of weaponizing the U.S. government.
That's ironic.
Imagine that.
Goes full circle. Trump is weaponizing the government to go after you over a no big deal crime. And that's literally what she did to us, obviously.
Yeah, I can't say I feel sorry for her. And we've played the videos, the compilations of her. He's an illegitimate president. She's a little cross-eyed. One of the eyes lazy. What do you call that? Just one lazy eye?
Wonky, yeah.
Wonky eye, yeah. She's overweight, wonky-eyed, yelling about Trump, weaponizing her own attorney general's office. And if you're going to be the person weaponizing the office, you better be squeaky, squeaky clean.
Yeah.
And that's the part that they don't remember. They don't actually cover their bases. We want to play this video?
Sure, we can let it play.
She looks scared. Here was her giving like a rah-rah speech after this had been announced.
My mission is clear. I'm focused. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I've been trained by the best. I went to Howard University that overturned legal segregation in this country. I've been taught in those classrooms where Thurgood Marshall once taught. I'm not afraid of no president.
You see how it all just goes back to race?
Of course. And then we're talking about like saying this is my residency versus not, or here's my income versus not. Just like Rosa Parks, I lied on some federal documents. You know, there's no crossover, but that doesn't matter. That's how she can rally support around her.
And then the support she's rallying, like you said, it's just purely based on race. Like, she is correct because she's black and Trump is trying to get a black woman in trouble. Trump is white, she's black. She must be correct. Like, that's the justification. That's what it boils down to, even though it's pretty cut and dry. You committed mortgage fraud or you didn't.
Bring up Howard University. Bring up Thurgood Marshall. It's like a tired playbook.
Yeah, it's getting bad. All right, let's get to our migrant section. There's lots to cover here. First, we have a pretty horrible story about the rape of a child from an illegal.
A 19-year-old man is accused of raping a child, and he's now behind bars. Police say Raimundo Cornelio was 18 years old when he raped an 11-year-old girl. Their investigation started after the child gave birth in February. The victim told police she met the man on Facebook and had one sexual encounter with him last May. They were able to track him down after he was stopped for a traffic violation last month. Police say he admitted to the crime.
Yeah, now he's in detention. They got a hold of him. Yeah, and this is who the Democrats need here, I guess. This is who needs to come here illegally. This is who Democrats might be the next to support, get support around.
Yeah. And he was listed as white in one of his arrest documents, so he's obviously screwing up our own crime stats. Another illegal rapist, and this time it's an 11-year-old. Just dark, and this is what we mean. Every turn of this episode, there's something absolutely fucked up going on.
Yep.
But we want to move on from that really quickly to the poster child of the left over the past week. If you guys have been paying attention to anything, turning on CNN, Fox, White House press briefings, they've all been arguing over one Maryland man.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even remember his name. It doesn't matter. They're saying someone got illegally deported to El Salvador, and he wasn't actually an MS-13 member, and he's a good father, and he didn't beat his wife.
Yeah.
And there's all these objections that they're having. If you turn on any news channel, they're going to be talking about this guy. It's like Alvar Garcia Gomez or something. But I think we've reached the point of fatigue on this as well. So that's the Democrat playbook now. We're doing all these deportations, and the Democrat playbook is find one. Find the most sympathetic guy I can. Find someone who they made a mistake on, as if there's not 20 million people here and we're not going to get some randomly like okay guys in the mix while we're doing this cleansing, right?
And the most sympathetic person they found was literally an MS-13 gang member.
Yeah, he was found as to be an MS-13 gang member by like 2 different court decisions. And then
he was hanging out with people in the gang. He was wearing clothes for the gang, the Bulls hat. Like, he's in the gang.
He got pulled over transporting like 7 other illegals, and the Tennessee like State Patrol or whatever caught him. So not the greatest guy, but for some reason leftists are rallying around him as some sort of example. And the media obviously called him Maryland man. But the sentence, where's he from? El Salvador. El Salvadorian guy. Stop right there. I don't want to hear what he did. I don't want to hear anything. Is he back there? Yes.
Send him.
Okay, that's clean for me. And that's the shift of opinion for America as a whole. The people like AOC crying over kids in cages, that little thing that they've been doing recently, I think it's losing some of its buzz. We talk about different types of fatigue. I think we're at a migrant fatigue point, and I think this video kind of sums it up, right?
Exactly.
Deport all undocumented immigrants. Voters favoring the government trying to deport all 11 million of them. Back in 2016, just 38% of voters wanted the government to try to deport all 11 million undocumented immigrants. Compared to where we are in 2025, 56%, the majority. The American people have come a long way on this issue, much closer to Donald Trump, and I think that's a big part of the reason why Americans are increasingly saying the country is on the right track when it comes to immigration.
So it's interesting that they keep saying 11 million.
It's been 11 million since 1995, my man.
Yeah, and then if you said, hey, it's actually 50 million, I think that number of people who support deportations goes up even more.
Absolutely.
The idea of it being 11 million, like that's manageable. We can get 11 million people out of here in 4 years.
And so this kind of emotional manipulation, or the Trump administration got something wrong, it's like there's going to be a lot of bodies in the wreckage, in the proverbial wreckage, correcting something that's gone so wrong, right? Like I'm not really worried about any one individual. I'm worried about round numbers, 100,000, 500,000, a million, 2 million. And when we get to 10, then it's like, okay, let's take a breather and figure it out. So how many were there if we got 10, and how many are still left, right?
Exactly. And then also keep in mind, as we mentioned before, CNN's obviously anti-American. When they say that, like they do tell the truth every now and then, but it's also like paired with a lie. So it's like, oh, Americans are supportive of getting rid of all the illegals here, all 11 million. They can't even fully do it.
That's so true.
They can't even fully do it. They have to lie a little bit when they tell the truth.
And then I guess in other good news, and that's the thing, the Trump administration isn't like being sad or saying like, oh yeah, maybe we should get that MS-13 guy back that you're all crying about. It's just moving the ball forward. And here's an example of that, which I'm hoping could lead to more deportations. Congressional Republicans are preparing to increase funding for ICE by 90 to 175 billion over the next 10 years. ICE's annual budget is about 9 billion. This will allow the agency to hire thousands of officers, enlist local law enforcement, and hire contractors to identify targets. And that is money that you get a return on, because all of the blue states wasting, and even red states who incidentally waste money on illegal aliens, that's a drain. So it's kind of like you pay money to stop the bleeding. I'm not opposed to that type of government spending at all.
Me neither. And then we have some interesting memes here, too, that sum up the situation when it comes to Democrats and their views of the illegals. Can you show that first one and give it a read?
Yeah, it's like a little sad guy. Wow, you mean we're not going to have 30 million trials and deport them over the course of 500 years?
Exactly.
I mean, we've reported on that too, how backlogged the immigration courts are, how someone would get into America, they'd be claiming asylum, and then they'd get a court date for 2027 or 2028 with some random beleaguered judge in Texas, right? And it's like, we're not really... The left keeps saying due process, due process. Everybody needs a fair thing. There was no due process for Americans when our country was being flooded. Nobody had a choice. There's a lot of reversal that needs to be done. And I'm sorry, I don't care about determining who the El Salvadorians' rights in America. You just have to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And Logan Hall said they imported 20 million illegal aliens, and now they're saying it's illegal to deport the 20 million aliens they imported illegally.
Ironic.
It's just fat chance shit. We don't care. We're steamrolling ahead. The public wants it. Sentiment shifted so much. Trump ran on immigration and the border in 2016. And that was...
And it got way worse.
38%, and it since got way worse. So that should give you an idea of the magnitude of the issue.
It's everybody against CNN. You know? It's everyone wants it. We know it's a problem. We see it every day. And then there's a few people, and then CNN pretends like, oh, you're getting rid of this nice family man. It's over. Yeah. All right, and we have a situation in Dearborn, Michigan, as I'm sure you guys know, is obviously a huge Muslim population. Listen to this interview that was done a few days ago.
The message for the people of Gaza is going to be more of the message that should be sent to the people here, in that they have achieved victory. We haven't done anywhere near enough. And the people here, I promise you, we do feel ashamed. We do feel like we're not doing enough. We do feel like change needs to come, because change must come. And in the form that it must come is that this empire, the American empire that's been hurting our people since the beginning, the imperial Western powers that have been hurting our people since the beginning, they must fall. And inshallah.
Yeah, so that's who needs to come here, I guess.
The guy who is in the American empire says the American empire must fall. And at the beginning, he says, the people of Gaza or something. I can't even keep track of what conflicts or beefs they're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So,
and that's who was brought here, and they were brought here deliberately because everyone who brought them here knew that they had that view and that sentiment. So that's the whole point. You bring these anti-American people here, you give them a ton of stuff, you get people mad at them, you get some social divide, and they'll probably do whatever they're planning on doing.
Yeah, there'll be infighting and distractions within the country versus different pockets seeking political power, and then bad guys can loot the country while everyone's turned.
Exactly. The attention is off the people who brought them here, and it's on the people who are here. But there's actually like a worse enemy.
Yep.
All right, let's jump across to Europe real quick. This was at the University of Amsterdam. There was a protest, a jihadi protest.
Looks like he found a pallet. Grabs the 2x4.
And as you can see, the cop does nothing.
There's a cop who watches the guy break a stick over the other guy's head and goes, "Oh, wow." Like he's a cell phone filming bystander. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's getting intense. But the cop...
That's you. That's your time.
The cop does nothing because he sees it's a Muslim person attacking, and then what? Oh, the Muslim doesn't know any better?
I don't know.
But if it was a white person attacking Muslims in Amsterdam, you think that cop would jump into action?
Yeah, I think
he would.
Something different would definitely happen.
All right, let's get into our next section, the Austin Metcalf Karmelo Anthony section. It's been a busy story for the last few weeks. We have a lot of clips from the press conference that the lawyer did. Listen to the first one.
And that is your constitutional right? It's people out here reminding us of the black struggle in America.
The black struggle in America. The kid killed somebody.
It's people out here reminding us of it. Yeah. And
black struggle in America, you killed somebody and you're not even in trouble.
Yeah.
You're raising money and you're doing all, we'll get to it, but...
If you watched this press conference, you would never know that somebody was the murderer. You would think that this kid had gotten killed, basically.
Yeah.
Which is total upwards and backwards and upside down. Do you want to play this one right away?
Yeah, this next clip, the lawyer blames the school district, and listen to what he says is the reason.
How many of y'all have asked the superintendent or one single board of trustee, why didn't you cancel or postpone? With weather in that magnitude, you couldn't have a track meet in rain or thunderstorm or clouds. Y'all are the media. Ask your journalists, your weather journalists, how the weather was that day and that time. Y'all do that research. Frisco ISD.
So the weather is playing into why Karmelo Anthony killed somebody with a knife?
We need a meteorologist, stat, because this kid stabbed somebody in the chest after nothing.
But it was raining. You should have canceled the event. He wouldn't have been there. The stabbing wouldn't have happened. Like, he's doing that mental math as if that is sound thinking.
Yeah, and here's the sad part. This guy, it doesn't need to be sound thinking. They get a certain amount of black people on the jury. They get a black judge. This is just going to be like, it doesn't matter how dumb this idiot is, because clearly he's dumb and he's throwing anything he can at the wall. He's going to talk in circles about black and white and this and that, and it's all won or lost in the jury selection, which
That's
is
a good point.
Which kind of is an implicit argument for like segregation or something. You know, it's the backwards argument for segregation. Like, nah, we understand how different and bad white and black America is. And it's like, okay, so why are we forcing it all the time? If that's the defense when it comes to murdering someone, then okay, do we need to rethink this? Because they always bring up that world that they're living in, that hard, impoverished, everyone's racist against them world. And then, okay, so why are you guys interacting, right?
Yeah, go live in Memphis where it's safe.
Something. Do we want to go over some of the, he's renting a nice $900,000 home now in a gated community.
Mm-hmm. They have a new car.
Yeah, there's a new car. Karmelo may have gotten some new kicks. They're high-fiving him. I don't know. Every time I see a video of Karmelo Anthony, there's not a thought behind the eyes. He seems like the exact type of impulsive killer that I would expect.
Yeah, he's just standing there like, I don't know, dead eyes.
And then they used to call it used to be a joke, like a George Floyd type or a Rodney King or the police beat up your husband or the police beat up a black man. They used to call that winning the ghetto lottery.
Yeah.
You get a $10 million settlement from a police department. You go, oh shit, it's on camera. Cha-ching. You get a Al Sharpton type lawyer around you. And now this guy raised $500,000. It's the ghetto lottery when you kill someone.
Yeah.
As long as you get the right eyeballs on it, which is so weird. I genuinely think this case is doing something horrible to race relations in America. Like, even worse. And I guess that just happens when you shine a light on what stupid shit is immediately delineating people's opinions, right?
Yeah.
Like, white people are like, holy shit, it's fucked up. And then black people are like, yeah, that's fucked up for the exact opposite reasons, right?
That's so true. And then Sovereign Bra had an interesting tweet. The black community in America basically just paid Karmelo Anthony $500,000 to murder a white kid in cold blood. That's where we're at in America, race relations.
Yeah.
It's true.
Here's another sum up. Black kid murders white kid. Dead kid's dad does the I'm not racist media tour. Murderer raises big money online. Bail lowered by black judge. Murderer moves into McMansion owned by Indians. And then the quote at the end, try that in Texas.
Yeah.
That's the main difference. This is not, we're not in the world or state of Texas that we thought we were in, you know?
Yeah, it highlights the black struggle in America. It's like you made money off this, and then like you're being portrayed as the victim.
Yeah, you're out.
And you compare this to George Floyd. Bail for Derek Chauvin was $1 million, and his offense was restraining a suspect who was high on drugs. And then the bail for Karmelo Anthony is $250K, and he stabbed a teen in the heart at a track meet. So I don't know how that you justify that.
And those were at two very different emotional points too. Like going back to the 2016 to 2025 illegal immigrant comparison, I think we're also at a level of fatigue on these type of race-related crimes too. Like Chauvin was 2020, and like your cousin Mike posted a black square. They really swept everybody up with that one. And it was like, oh, whoa, really? Should I be, you know, they hid the facts. That was a real propaganda train. And I think that's running out of steam. But again, this is just a matter of jury selection and how many people have like really fucked up opinions go, I'm not saying guilty no matter what.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
It'll be a hung jury. I think it'll be a split jury, and there'll be like two jurors who you can recognize them and you know who they are.
And then for these reasons, I think it's going to be a hot summer, unfortunately. There was a tweet that
Well, it'll only get hot if it upsets them.
Yeah.
If he goes to jail or something like that. So I don't know.
But the fatigue is at an all-time high. And we're going to show you clips of that in Urban Decay, too. But the comments that on the donation site, so there's obviously over $500,000 raised for Karmelo Anthony. Listen to some of the comments. Makes you really realize that a lot of black people do not like white people at all.
Yeah, white people do it, so will we. That person gave $5. Be strong, young man. You represent all of us in your encounter with these evil agendas. You were provoked, and you stood your ground. You stood your ground. You stood your ground. Thank you, and be strong. It's like some guy who doesn't know the facts at all.
He started repeating in the comments.
Oh, my God.
You stood your ground. You stood your ground.
You stood your ground. He stood his ground. Why you arrest me? Somebody said, when I was Carmelo's age, spelled brutally wrong, I would have had to get up and not say a word. God bless this young man. So there's some sort of racial revenge fantasy going on there. Praying for both families. Regardless, both families have lost their sons. I'm giving my donation because Texas is a racist state, and I want Karmelo Anthony to have a fair chance to defend himself. Goes on like that. But yeah, so it's all like race, solidarity. This
doesn't matter what happened. It's about correcting white versus black at different times. So Carmelo's right.
Yeah. You are not alone. You got us by your side. # Black Lives Matter. I don't know what that has to do with anyone.
Kid murdered somebody.
Yeah. God bless this young man. He had to defend himself from a bunch of rednecks. A bunch of rednecks. That's the level of discourse. I mean, that's where we're at in America, and it's genuinely sad to see.
It's interesting because a long time ago, when we have all these examples of the racism that people are referring to, it would be like someone who didn't get a fair trial, someone who got lynched or something.
Railroaded by an all-white jury.
Yeah, and then you'd have like a rally and you'd have like marches and stuff like that. Like they're doing the same exact thing, and then this guy just murdered somebody.
When he's on offense. When he just was completely on offense, stabbed him, admitted to stabbing him. And like all we're really waiting for is a litigation of the exact details leading up and around that brutal stabbing. right?
Yeah.
All we're looking for is like, did the kid do this right before? Then maybe you have a chance. Like, it's all coming down to these facts, and then everybody else is choosing sides and doing X, Y, Z.
Just based on race.
Yeah.
And then we're not going to show it, but Austin Metcalf's dad went to the press conference and he was asked to leave, and that delayed the start of the press conference. People were getting mad about that, saying it's disrespectful. But I noticed that when Austin Metcalf's dad was asked to leave, he didn't get angry and stab someone in the chest.
Yeah, which would have been well within his legal right, according to the exact lawyer who asked him to leave.
Yeah.
So he could have stabbed someone in the chest for free, as long as they put hands on him.
Yeah, which I'm sure they got close to doing. Mm-hmm. And then there's also Karmelo Anthony merch now. They're selling T-shirts. The family has a website.
Yeah.
To support this young man as if he was killed by a crazy white guy or something.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a complete backwards thing. And if you watch that press conference, you would think he was killed by the U.S. military or something, by the federal government. So
absolutely insane.
Crazy and upside down. I do not have confidence in his lawyer, though. Very dumb, very low IQ, which I guess is good for us, but it's really going to be a demographics question because this case has gotten so much exposure that they can move it from the small town and go 2 counties over, and everybody who's black and on the jury would have heard about it anyway.
Yeah, that's very true. All right, moving on to our final page of housekeeping, hopefully a little more uplifting. Make sure you guys juice and tickle. We need it. First things first, we talked about the space travel trip that the ladies did the other day. And then everyone was getting mad about man-made and like all these terms, humankind versus mankind. And then someone on Twitter made an interesting point. The Latin root for hand is manu or man. So man-made isn't made by a man, it's manually made.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are correcting that just because it has the word man in it.
It's just how language works. And, it's herstory and womankind. And they just like to insert themselves into issues where there aren't any.
However they can.
Yeah.
Next, there was a show where this woman was complaining that people tell her she looks like a Muppet.
The person started saying I look like a Muppet. Mm-hmm. And people say it so much, sometimes I start to believe it. And so I even asked Vince, I'm like, do I look like a Muppet? Oh my God. He's like, absolutely not.
And all the ladies start crying with her.
She asked her husband.
She asked, do I look like a Muppet? Well, kind of. Yeah. We have a Muppet here. Yeah. And then if you were to play this and tell me that was Kenan Thompson in a wig, and it's an SNL skit, I go, oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, okay, it's SNL.
That makes total sense. But saying I look like a Muppet and then someone online immediately makes a Muppet that looks exactly like you.
That's one of the things. You can't emotionally break down on the internet or on TV and give up your biggest weakness because people hammer you.
Yeah.
So
big time. All right. Stephen A. Smith, he's recently announced that he's thinking about running for president. Here he is gesturing that his heart goes out to the whole crowd. You won't get in trouble for that.
No, of course not.
He's allowed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Our next story. Female lions can grow manes and develop masculine behavior as a result of a hormonal imbalance.
And I'm sure that no mentally unstable man will use this as an excuse of why he can cut his junk off. I'm sure that won't happen.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of like it.
I didn't know that.
I like a female lion that looks just like a smaller version of the male lion.
Yeah.
That's fine with me. I'm fine with that, but that does not mean it translates over to the transgenders.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, guys.
Okay.
Next, we have a little bit of a dog attack, and they use an interesting technique to end it.
German Shepherd on a little white dog. This guy's not helping at all. He's pouring water on him. Don't know how that would help. Owner comes up. And here we go, digging in the ass. Yeah. Gotta dig in the ass a little more.
What a freak.
That guy just wanted, he saw his opportunity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, leave it to a gay guy. There's a chaotic situation. There's a lot of things coming and going. No one knows what's going on. And now's your chance to go get that dog. Do what you wanted to do. And it's like the dog was attacking another dog. Now's the time.
Some sick men out there. That's crazy.
They just see the chaos and go, oh, now I can do what I want.
Opportunists. Yeah.
Very disgusting.
Yep.
Freak.
Yep.
All right, our last clip of the last page of housekeeping. This guy makes an interesting point that I think is very compelling.
There are not 8 billion people in the world. I've been all over the world, and I haven't seen nearly 8 billion people. I've seen maybe a couple hundred max. It's all a psyop to make you feel smaller. The truth is that most of the earth is empty. Drive outside of the city anywhere in the world, and you know what you're going to see? Farmland. No people on it. And if I were to guess, I would say there's maximum 100 million people in the world.
It's pretty interesting.
Okay.
What's the most people you ever saw? 100,000?
Videos of like India. Videos of like the Mecca. The pilgrimage that like Muslims make, stuff like that, or China, any random Chinese city, you kind of know people are buzzing around.
Or like an ACD concert from the 90s.
Yeah, Metallica in the
$150K.
Soviet Union. Yeah,
but that's it. And if you add up all those stadiums that you saw and all those things, you can't add up numbers to 8 billion.
I disagree.
Well,
India, China, these things are too dense. These people are human biomass blobs. So I can't really. I got to go against
But it's something to think about.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's the end of housekeeping. We're now moving on to Cringe of the Week. All right. Our first clip of Cringe of the Week is a dude in a dress, and he's not happy about it.
Talk to me. So I know these pads can be removed, but right now it's giving me very drag.
Okay.
Very, very like, it doesn't feel like me. I look like a man in a dress, and that's not what I want.
Oh, you don't want to look like a man in a dress. Well, maybe we could change your skeletal structure a little bit. Maybe add some blonde highlights to your hair.
Sir, can I interest you in $400,000 worth of cosmetic surgeries to look like an ugly woman?
Yeah, you'll be the 6'2" ugliest woman you've ever seen, and you'll pay a good amount for it too.
Yeah.
Take a loan out.
Yeah. Can I show you before and after pictures of Lily? Lily Totino?
This could be you.
Yeah.
So just a delusional person. And this is the type of delusion we're expected to participate in and agree with?
I don't think we're even expected anymore.
Not
I think
anymore.
women and gays and like a certain, I think they've given up. And they just want a certain segment, and then you're either an ally or not, and that's become something else. That's not expected of everybody. And I think even corporate training materials have given up on that.
I think so,
You just
too.
can't call them the F slur.
Yeah. And then you're either an ally or you're not. And then they keep doing more and more retarded shit. And then the number of allies just slowly leaves the ship.
Yeah, you drop out. You drop out. And then this is a TLC show called Say Yes to the Dress, which, I'm unfamiliar with, obviously. I've never cared about what dress a woman is choosing. But then they just slip a man in there for these women. And then the women eat it up still. They still go, yeah, that's my favorite show.
Yeah, it's great. You look great.
The guy's gay. The dress helper guy is for sure gay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Is that what women like?
They all like to play pretend.
They're too open to gay guys.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're too open to gay guys, so.
It's not cool anymore, especially when you learn about what they're up to. It's like, oh, I'm coming over. I'll be over at 5 o'clock. I'm running a little late. What were you doing?
What were you doing?
Why are you
Wash
running
your
late?
hands. Are those popper marks around your nose?
Let's take my car.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of gays and what they're up to, they made a campaign ad against Republicans, and they couldn't help themselves again.
My taxes, so expensive.
I know, tell me about it.
Oh my God!
What are you doing?
I'm your Republican congressman. I'm fundraising for re-election and servicing my sugar daddy and lowering his taxes.
You said you were gonna lower our taxes, man.
Sorry, you didn't give me any money. Now, if you'll excuse me, Daddy paid for full service, and I'm always a good boy for him.
All right. So
Most disgusting shit.
Lindsey Graham, we know. You got him. But it's funny because even when the goal is to bash Republicans, they don't know what to do with that. So all they can do is revert back to like the gayest shit ever that they're up to. You know what I'm saying?
Make it gay and degenerate, exactly like I'm thinking about all the time.
Yeah.
And then they're afraid of.
Exactly. Like, oh, well, how can we attack the Republicans? Like, oh, they're probably doing sugar daddy blowjob shit. Like,
Yeah, in
what?
the closet. Blue collar guys walk in, it's really hot, but it's, it's fucked up.
Yeah. It definitely shows more about the people who made the ad than the people they're trying to attack with it.
For sure. And I think this is something that we're seeing more and more because during the Biden administration, we were always talking about how 20-something staffers were running his shit. And then they'd post a quip on Twitter, and then we'd watch Joe Biden stumble on sand, you know, or start stuttering and miss a line and call Zelensky Putin. But he'd have some witty banter on Twitter with some slay queen shit.
Yeah.
And so now these younger Democrat operatives are getting into like they got a promotion or they moved up, and then the old school guys like James Carville or something, they retire. And now we're getting completely replaced with gay and women running this thing and going, gay blowjob video? And then it rolls, the final decision rolls up to someone like the Bud Light marketing executive.
And they go,
yep, gay blowjob scene in the closet.
Got him.
That'll own Democrats and that'll attract moderates.
Yeah.
I don't even think they remember the goal when they release something like this. You know? Republicans are like, okay, we need low propensity male, like frat students, low propensity college age male. They lean right, but they're not going to the polls. How do we target them? And then these guys are like, let's just call them gay.
Yeah, and then put them in the closet, and they get very vulgar and detailed with it too.
So that age cohort is graduating, and they're up to these same old horrible ideas. So I guess it's a good thing for us, right?
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're not secretly gay doing gay stuff, so you don't really hit us that hard.
And then imagine showing, you know how the world of politics and raising money works? Imagine showing this video to the people who fund your nonprofit and being like, this is what we've been up to. And
Want to give more money?
Yeah, and it's like some deca-millionaire, and he's like, oh my God.
Yeah. All right. And then to be clear, there probably are a lot of gay Republicans secretly like Lindsey Graham types.
Yeah, but this is more of an act that is about giving them tax
Mitch
breaks.
McConnell, you know.
It's a metaphorical blowjob that they made the sound for.
That's true. And Mitch McConnell, you know why he's in the wheelchair now?
He got fucked in?
That's what they're going to make a new ad of. Mitch McConnell in a wheelchair.
Mitch McConnell
Not because he's old.
Yeah.
Because he needs to wear a
Because he
tie.
got pounded by the Koch brothers.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
All right, let's get to our next story. There was a gay teacher who teaches pre-K who is also an OF model, and he got caught posting content at his classroom.
And here, do you want to play the video reaction, or you want to look at the content first?
Let's look at the content. Sorry, guys, this is a little...
Here's the content, and it's blurred up that far, so you know it goes that far.
Yeah, but there's his wiener in the school bathroom. He said, I shouldn't be doing this here. There's another picture of him looking cute in a yellow outfit.
He's Pikachu.
Yeah, very, very nice.
Yeah.
And then he got caught, and this is his reaction video.
To take a picture, they'd say, go take it, and I would. Now, I never did any of this while clocked in. I wasn't allowed to have bathroom breaks like that, unless it was an emergency, of course. So when I was in the bathroom, I was upstairs, classrooms were downstairs, I was far away from everyone in the teacher's bathroom that was locked. That's another thing people are confused about, because they see that the toilets had like little training seats on it, and there was 2 toilets in the bathroom, which was kind of weird. And I think like originally a long time ago, those were kids' bathrooms, and we would use them in an emergency, but for the most part, those were for the teachers. I'm not excusing anything I did. There is definitely no excuse, but I do just want to say that it would have happened at that time at any job I worked at. If I was working at the movie theater, it still would have happened there instead. It just so happened to be at the daycare, which makes everything so much more worse.
What are you talking about? It had to happen? He was saying, oh, they told me to go take a picture, that I had to do it.
People would ask, and I had to go. I had to start stroking my shit.
I had to do it. Well, they asked for it, so I had to go to the bathroom where the kids are somewhat in the vicinity.
Yeah.
Check the guy's hard drive. Make him a sex offender.
I think he should be.
You should be a sex offender for doing that. Posting gay content at a daycare, yeah, you go to jail.
And that's the type of guy who's making the ad that we showed you just a second ago.
Yeah,
that's the type of guy who goes, this is fine.
Yeah.
He's got the same radar on both of those issues.
Exactly. All right, let's get to our next story. It's about gambling. Young people are addicted to gambling really bad, and they have like these clips that make it seem fun or cool. We have a couple of those examples.
Yeah, actually, I'll try them on first. I think 8.5. Yeah. All right, boys, they're $90. We'll put 90 on a blackjack hand, see if we can make it back here. $100 on this blackjack hand. Oh, we got an ace? We got a blackjack. Yo, yeah. I just got a blackjack. There we go. All right, so we got some Air Forces. We got some food.
Oh, so you win, and then you buy shoes. You get them for free, basically. And he does another one. I don't know if it's the same guy, but this time to buy jewelry.
I had a question. How much one of these chains are down here? All right, I'm gonna try to pay for this one with gambling though. I got 500 left in my account. You want all on red on roulette?
However you're feeling, bro.
All right, let's go.
More of an inclination than me.
Hey, you said red for a reason. Let's do it. $500 on red. We got to go back to back to pay for that chain though. Here we go. 500 on red. Red, please. It's black, bro. Come on, man.
It's easy to lose those.
Yeah, it is.
And people are saying that the gambling crisis is like the next opioid crisis for young men.
Yeah.
Especially young white men. And it's getting pretty out of hand. And they say wherever gambling becomes legal in the state, later foreclosures and bankruptcies skyrocket, and it's usually young male homebuyers.
Wow.
So they get into a lot of trouble. Can you read this tweet that kind of sums it up as well?
Yeah, gambling is becoming a monster. Americans will lose $150 billion on legal betting this year. Gambling will soon pass alcohol to be our top addictive industry, and it ruins people. Forget the ads about a fun night out. These companies depend on addicts who lose everything.
Exactly. And it's all dopamine related too. Like I saw this graph and like a study that was done where you get more dopamine when you might get a reward as opposed to when you get a reward. So if you like, I'm going to work out and then get a beer, that does a certain amount of dopamine for you. But if it's, I'm going to work out and then maybe do something, like the maybe aspect amplifies the dopamine release.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And no, it's a totally dark thing, and then people do it on their phones. We've talked about it several times before, but then we've also told you to bet Phil Mickelson on the Masters. And you want to apologize for that?
Well, I didn't tell anyone to do that. I remember the caveat of no one should do this. Gambling's very bad.
Yeah.
But Phil Mickelson was.
Well, so
that was a stupid bet. It was a sucker's bet. They took my money.
Yeah.
I add to the $150 billion.
And that's the thing. The same way the painkillers thing, like the OxyContin epidemic from the Sackler family in the early 2000s, the same exact way that kind of goes is just a certain percentage of the population gets really, really fucked. Like some people like, oh, OxyContin is available. Oh, I got a script. Oh, that was a fun week. And then I'm not addicted for the rest of my life. But the people who are more prone to that get super addicted. The people who are more prone to be degenerate gamblers lose their house, lie to their wife, and kind of lose everyone's trust in their family and have to start from zero.
That's true. And then some people just bet Phil Mickelson and get blown out.
Yeah, and some people bet $5 and they go, oh, I have total self-control. I don't need this. This isn't my life. So it's just a different thing for different people. And yeah, they're finding new ways to fuck over white men. And then these guys will lobby politicians to keep it going because they have all your money now. They use your money to lobby to keep letting them do it more.
Very vicious cycle.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's fun because you're doing it in VR and you bought the Nikes with it, right?
Yeah.
Everything's a hidden ad now, too. We find videos, it's all over Twitter. It's just like a steak.com over a viral video that is viral from 5 years ago. Why did they put the gambling logo?
It's all a gambling ad.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our next clip. We only have 2 clips left. This lady's trying to fill her flat tire.
So she's taping a lot around her car.
Yeah. Tire shop down the street, y'all.
While filling it with air.
Literally, right down the street. Fuck this shit.
You gotta turn that power up some more.
Yeah, fuck this shit.
They didn't turn it off.
It's going to show the state of the rest of her car.
Make sure she hold. Make sure she hold now. Make sure that shit hold. Make sure that shit stick.
She's got a completely duct taped rear view.
Yeah. So at first I was going to say this could be a bit, but then I saw the duct taped back window and the donut on the back right.
Yeah. She's got a mini spare on the back right.
Which she probably, you're supposed to go 50 miles, I think.
Yeah. No, 50 miles per hour. Like you're supposed to immediately change the tire.
And it's a temporary, yeah. And she's running that, and now she has another flat tire, probably because the tires are so bald. And then what? She'll get pulled over and say, oh, you only pull me over because I'm black.
Yeah. I can't see out of my rearview mirror. I'm on a mini spare. I'm taped together, which she totally doesn't understand what happens in a tire. Tape? Are you kidding me?
You know how much pressure there is in that?
Yeah, it's at least 35 PSI, right? But, you know, this is going to another Who's on the Road with Us.
Yeah.
Who's on the road with us? The illegals, they already don't have insurance. This person who's fucking a danger to everybody. It's dark.
It is. Well, let's get to our next clip. I was going to push it to bonus land, but we're going to do it here because we're going long episodes these days. This guy is mad that he can't close the gym early because someone came at 9:15.
We close the gym at 9:15 because we need 45 minutes to clean the gym. Every single Friday I close that door at 9:15. If you come here, no, you don't have to call him.
I'm entitled to be here.
And I'm entitled to close my gym so I can clean it because I work here.
Gym,
yes,
dude.
it is. It's not yours.
I pay for it.
All right, so go to another one. Dickhead, you can go to as many gyms as you want.
Yeah, you're definitely not gonna
I don't care how much you want to bet. Get the fuck out of my gym, bro. Get out. The fuck you calling me to do what? Nothing. At all.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out, bro, before I violate you. I'm not playing with you, bro. At 9:15, I close my gym every day. I'm a closer, a Friday closer. Get the fuck out, bro. Get out. You want to be so tough, put that phone down and do something real tough. Since you want to be a tough guy. Get the fuck out, bro.
I know you're not following me out of the gym.
I'm escorting you out the gym. Listen, every day we close the gym 45 minutes early so we can clean it. Bye.
Yeah. So his job is to clean after the close, and that sucks. Because it's Friday, and at 10 o'clock, then you start cleaning. You want to go do something, so you just close the gym at 9:15.
Because people usually don't come.
Yeah, and so your new thing is, I close at 9:15, and then I clean for 45 minutes, and then I leave right at the supposed to be close of the gym, and he gets caught, he gets confronted, and instead of just saying, all right, I guess I can't do my little scheme this week, I'll have to close at regular time, he escalates like he's correct. And it's not like it's some local gym where you could say, I'm the owner and the gym's closed at 9:15. It's like Crunch, right? It's
Planet Fitness. Like a set hour, set schedule.
It's very corporate.
Like if you can scan in, you can go in, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure the scan in thing ends at 10 o'clock or something like that. But yeah, the getting caught trying to do your little sneaky thing and then calling someone a dickhead and threatening to violate him. Very Urban Decay. That should have been an Urban maybe.
Well, it is the transition, and we are moving to Urban Decay now. So all these Urban Decay stories we're about to show you are stories that you probably didn't hear about this week because the suspect was black. So we might go fast through some, just so you know. Not everything's going to have a full breakdown, but they are all lumped into this main category. All right, our first story in this category is this guy right here. He shot up a school the other day, 5 victims, but you didn't see it covered.
Yep.
That's about right.
And he later turned himself in, but, news very, very slow. Doesn't move the needle, right?
Yep, and then this next incident happened at a high school. Do you have some details before we show the clip?
Yeah, it was Taylor High School in Katy, Texas. Shows a teenage boy slapping a girl in the face. The district claimed it was a mutual fight, and both got suspended for the same amount of time. And here's the clip on the mutual fight.
I want that to happen to anybody else's daughter.
First hit.
That video is so hard to watch. I can't even watch it anymore.
Into a pummeling.
But there shouldn't be that much confusion on a situation like this that is a plain as day an assault of a boy on a girl. When did that change to be okay?
Oh, bro. What's up, bro? Chill the fuck out, bro. Chill, bro. I got my...
Yeah.
So a male aggressor who completely overpowers a white woman.
And attacks her.
Yeah, but that's a mutual fight, and, don't mess with Texas, right?
Yeah, and it should be national outrage, like for an incident like this. And barely anyone helps. Barely anyone gets involved. The teacher's just standing around. No one has any strength in their movements. They're just slow and on their heels. Probably because of porn, reels, and online gambling, I'm assuming.
Yeah, combination of the 3. Sometimes only 2 of the 3.
Everyone's brain is just cooked, and no one realizes that it's real life. Similar to the person walking by the dead body at Florida State.
Yep.
You just kind of go, it's just some content.
Yeah, this is something I would see on my phone.
Yeah,
I'm seeing it now, so I'll put it on my phone.
Yeah, it's no big deal. And next we have a guy in Oakland who got attacked. A black guy attacks an old man.
A short while later, the man attacks the worker. Then a customer in a light-colored shirt intervenes. The man throws a punch at the customer. There's a verbal exchange, and then the man appears to walk away, only to turn around and go after the customer, violently attacking him from the back. Lou says the victim is a regular customer, but she doesn't know his name.
I feel so sad. I'm worried about the white
It was at an Asian supermarket, and of course, the African-American derelict has to attack the elderly man from behind.
Yeah.
Has to cheap shot the elderly man.
No one heard about that. Not a huge story. And then we have a couple others as well where it gets bad. This woman at 4 a.m. got catcalled, told the guy to fuck off. No big deal, just words. And then she got murdered for that.
Yeah, Iowa mother murdered by catcaller after he snubbed her random invite to come get high. That was his pitch. That was his big pitch. 4 a.m. on the street, catcall someone, come get high. James Bernard Johnson, you could see him there. He's a lovely guy, apparently. He spotted on the sidewalk just before 4 a.m., and she said, who are you? Never mind, fuck off. And she was a bartender, so I guess that was her reason for being out at 4 a.m. Johnson claims he felt disrespected by Lafredo's comments, so he pointed a pistol out the window and blasted off 4 shots at her before speeding away. And this was all on a quiet residential street outside of a middle school when this 60 IQ idiot decided to take her life. He claimed that he'd only fired the weapon at the ground and wanted to just frighten her. That's how the world works. So that's a woman dead in a split second from an impulsive decision made by this brain-dead idiot, right?
Yep.
But did you hear about that? Was that national news anywhere?
No one heard about that.
And then another one
gets worse. This is the saddest story of the whole episode. A man was randomly attacked by someone with a hatchet.
It was at this bus bench on Broadway and 6th where Tucson police say Jacob Couch was attacked by a man with a hatchet. And now his family is speaking out.
It was very traumatic and there was a lot of blood.
After spending around 10 months in Los Angeles, Kristen and Jacob Couch, a married couple of 11 years, were on their way back to their hometown in Alabama until the unthinkable happened.
I can't remember the last time there's just been a baseless, like a senseless crime like this.
As they were waiting for the next bus in Tucson, Kristen says an unknown man started yelling at them.
I told the man we're leaving, and my husband bent down to, I guess, like get our stuff, and he just came up behind him and just walked away.
A hit to the back of Jacob's neck with a hatchet. Kristen's
10 a.m., broad daylight
at the bus stop.
Downtown Tucson.
Didn't hear about it.
And here's the guy. Here's a picture, like him with his daughter, like nice, normal guy. Him with his wife, who we just saw from. The guy eventually got caught, and here's a picture of the offender.
Yeah.
There's the offender. And the suspect told investigators he had been heavily drinking and thought Jacob was using drugs. So he said he struck Jacob after seeing him reach into his pocket. I was so fucked up, and I had a hatchet, and I was wandering downtown, and I saw a guy reach into his pocket, so I fucking struck his neck. He's in, like, critical condition. He'll never be the same. 4 a.m., some guy catcalls you, you have to go with them. Waiting for a bus in Phoenix, you need to be, like, carrying a handgun saying, put it to freeze! You can never relax, right?
Yeah. And then for every Austin Metcalf Karmelo Anthony situation, which is obviously getting the public attention, as you can see, there's like 10 other stories with the same dynamic that don't get any attention. So you see the Austin Metcalf Karmelo Anthony, you go, oh, like, this is really unfortunate, but at least it's getting covered. There's a million stories that aren't being covered because the suspects are black.
Yeah. And you want to know what's weird about this? I was kind of talking to Fleckus about this before the show, is everyone has like that one story like, yeah, my mom was hitchhiking in California and guess who she ran into? 1973. Jeffrey Dahmer. Ooh, like some big boogeyman, scary, like these old serial killers, right? Yeah, my friend was in Milwaukee and guess who he ran into? John Wayne Gacy was the clown at the party in Chicago. Mm-hmm. These like horrific monsters that we're so fascinated by who are, like targeting people and predatory and like hiding the bodies and smart. And then there's like the other side of the coin, which is like I just ran into some borderline retarded person who was violent and angry for something that I couldn't even conceptualize. And it was just wrong place, wrong time, the stupidest person you've ever seen in your life.
And we had been arrested 10 times before for similar things, but this time they took it further and actually killed somebody.
And then they don't clean up their tracks. They're usually on video. They leave evidence at the scene of the crime. It's like all these things where they're not even going to get away with it. They're so stupid. But it's just a matter of like wrong time, wrong place, wrong like combination of events that led up to it. And then I'm a hatchet attacker today. Or I'm shooting at this woman at 4 a.m. because I got a loaded gun in my stupid car.
Yeah.
So it's like a different kind of like evil that has nothing to do with being like truly evil. It's like incidental, dumb, impulsive evil.
Yeah.
And it's even harder to predict, you know?
Yep. That's who we share society with.
Yep.
And then someone did a prompt on ChatGPT and asked some interesting questions. And listen to what ChatGPT said as the answer.
Somebody said there are 100 poisonous blue, green, black, and red frogs in a pond. Black frogs are responsible for 50% of fatal bites, but only 13% of the frogs are black. What would you do about this? And ChatGPT gives some advice with its blinders on. It says prioritize black frog avoidance. Given their high lethality, avoid black frogs entirely. Identify and monitor black frogs. Learn to distinguish black frogs and monitor their locations. Limit pond access. Restrict access to the pond to minimize encounters. Use protective gear. Educate about risks. Consider relocation.
Yeah.
So
everyone take that advice if you got some poisonous black frogs near you.
I know. It's so bad. And again, we see videos like this, and then we see the Austin Metcalf murderer, the Karmelo guy, talking about how his dumb fucking lawyer talking about how, oh, these race relations in America. You see these videos, you see that, and you just go, I just want to opt out of this. I want to avoid this. I just want to hang out with my family, a couple like-minded friends who also look like me, of European descent.
People are getting black fatigue, it's called. It's actually, there's a different word for it.
Yeah, and all these, well, should we play this video?
Yeah.
This late woman.
Everyone's getting black fatigue, and here we have an example of someone who...
I won't find out where you stay at, bitch. You got me fucked up. I'm sitting here going into the parking lot asking if you good.
Bitch,
you been staring at me
with your fake ass eyelashes.
I don't give a fuck. I don't
get out of my face. You
She's got me fucked up.
She's at the end of her rope.
Yeah.
And then California is trying to charge her with a hate crime.
They're investigating a hate crime.
Potential hate crime.
And so this is a true, you were saying it's a true First Amendment test.
It's a free speech check.
Yeah, you can.
She should not get in trouble for this.
You can do this.
Yeah.
You'll lose your job.
Not pretty.
They'll try to get you online.
You'll go viral.
Anybody know this woman? It'll be that, but you can say it.
Yeah.
As long as you don't like try to stomp them out or something afterwards. You can't hit them. You can't, in conjunction with a violent act, yes. But that is a First Amendment check, right?
Yeah. And then Antonio Brown posted this on his Twitter, the chain of the Burger King guy from the airplane. Thought that was funny.
Are people getting the fatigue?
People are getting fatigued.
I can't tell. I'm too plugged in. I'm always fatigued. I've been fatigued for the last long time.
People are getting very fatigued, and I can even tell by the way we discuss it. If you watched the show probably like 3 years ago, we were probably more sensitive about like how we say things, and now it's just like, yeah, another black criminal.
It's bad, man. It's bad.
It's very bad.
But it's not based on nothing. It's not made up. It's like truly, and then especially the way, like the hatchet guy, a truly nice, regular guy, totally unsuspecting, completely victimized. You know, it's not like someone hung out with the wrong people. Well, he associated with gang members. Well, XYZ happened.
It was a drive-by at this location.
Yeah, he should have been hanging out there. It's just a completely innocent person getting caught up in some probably race-related, racially motivated, fucked up thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the fatigue is real.
All right, this last story we're going to cover fast because it's been all over the news. You guys definitely saw it already. The body cam footage of the community leader that killed a cop, stole the car, and flipped it, right?
Did he kill a cop?
I believe he did to get the... Let's read the details. We have it, I think, a summation of what happened.
Yeah, trooper shoots and kills Michigan community leader who attacked an officer, crashed a stolen cruiser, and prayed for over 11 minutes during a multi-state chase.
So he got killed. right?
Yeah.
But it was all on dash cam and body cam. There's also a crowdfunder for this person. And the main point here is BLM's big thing years ago was, we need body cam to show all the racism done by cops to black people. And at the end of the day, what really is shown is how much cops deal with when it comes to black suspects. And it's not racism. It's actually usually justifiable force.
Yeah, let's play the dash cam footage here to show what the police was going through.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, man? What's going on?
In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus, watch out. In the name of Jesus, watch out. Watch out, get hurt. You're going to get hurt. In the name of Jesus, stop, bitch.
Hey,
Jesus, Lord, bow down.
Get hurt.
Jesus, Lord, bow down. Don't touch me, you're going to die. Next time you touch me, you're going to die. Next time you touch me, you're going to die.
Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. 5 Team Cleveland. Send me another unit. He's on foot, going down the berm.
And then we have a screenshot of another interaction. And then here's where the conflict gets heated.
Taser doesn't work.
That's Jesus, bitch. Bitch. That's Jesus. Oh.
Get down on the ground.
Jesus. 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 Okay, let's see. Good one. All right. Let's try to phone Jesus. Go ahead. Listen.
Get down on the ground now.
Lay down.
Just shoot him.
So the cop does so many things before,
This guy eventually steals the cop car.
Yeah, I know.
And goes on like a multi-mile chase.
Yeah. He flips the cop
flips
car
it over.
And then eventually, finally, they shoot him. And the guy's clearly having some sort of mental break, right? He's going crazy. He's going nuts. But the weird thing that I noticed from this is how much a cop avoids actually shooting or truly like pulling out a baton or doing any sort of brutality. He's like fist fighting him, won't pull out his gun, eventually gets his car stolen. The guy's having a clear mental break. It's almost like they're treated at an entirely different rate than normal criminals. Nobody wants to be the guy who pulls the trigger on a black man in 2025 because an Austin Metcalf scenario can happen or not. And thank God for this officer. If I'm this officer and I see this picture going viral on the body cam, I'm saying, thank you.
Yeah.
It was crazy. The guy was demonic. He was possessed.
The cops do everything they can besides use force because they know once they use force, they're going to get Derek Chauvin.
And then they still do the GoFundMe calling him a community leader. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're at.
That's where we're at. Well, that's the end of Urban Decay. Before we move on, there's a lot of racial tension, obviously, between black and whites. During this time, do not forget that Israel still runs our government. All right. Don't get too down or too depressed. We're now moving on to uplifting gold, and we have some good uplifting stuff.
Okay.
First, we have Robert Kraft doing deadlifts.
This is one of those fucking hidden gambling ads. You see this?
Is it really?
Yeah, it says, blur it out, Nick. No free gambling ads.
We blurred it. I didn't realize.
But
that's not even Robert Kraft. That's a lady.
Yeah, it's an old lady doing deadlifts.
I thought Robert Kraft was still working out. And I was going to say, that's great. It's just an old lady. Okay, next. I have some singers. I have a couple singers.
I like this guy. I know this guy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I follow him.
All right, me too. Well, I just discovered him and listened to a piece of his song.
If you've ever had a blonde-headed, green-eyed woman like I do in your passenger seat, you can get all over the road.
He said, you must be buzzing on something, son. I said, I am, but it ain't what you're thinking of. It ain't the whiskey that gets me looking like I'm out of my mind. When she kissed me, it hit me harder than some hillbilly shine. If you're thinking I've been drinking, there's a little bitty reason that I'm speaking just a little tongue-tied. It ain't the whiskey, it's the woman by my side.
Okay. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I can't even sign him. He's a real singer.
No, I know. He's way out of your budget. That guy.
I know.
I think this guy was on some show. He was on some season of The Voice or The Something or...
That's Americana.
Yeah.
And that's like a certain type of like Alan Jackson country.
Only like 1% of people can even get their voice in that range.
That was sick.
Yeah.
All right, next we have a guy who's getting better at guitar. All right, sweating in the garage. That's why I liked it. He's like a boomer, and I don't even know if he's good at guitar. He probably is.
Yeah,
but I don't
can't
know
tell.
if he's hitting actual chords or if he's just going.
Sweating in the garage, and it's a workout.
Yeah, sweating in the garage and grinding it out like that. That's uplifting.
Okay.
All right, next we have a couple golf clips. This one says, "I can make it through the gap." So he's just teeing it up. Not very good.
Get through.
Get through. Come on. Nope. Hit the water thing.
Hit the main water line for the entire golf course. Now you got to call somebody.
It's big damage. All right, next, this guy says, trying to mind my own business at the driving range. This happens all the time.
Trying to mind my own business at the driving range.
That's a good shot, kid.
What's that?
You professional?
Sorry?
Are you a professional?
No, I'm only new to golf.
Really? With a swing like that, you're not? And I've seen a lot of golfers in my time.
Right.
I'm a PGA Tour scout from America. I look for guys like you. Okay. You ever thought about playing a tour with that swing?
No, I never.
Never? Man, there's a lot of money to be made in golf with a golf swing like that. Why don't I give you my business card? I'm looking for a guy just like you to fly around the world and golf.
Okay.
You ever thought about doing that for a living?
Yeah, no, I never thought about it.
Well, you should.
Thanks, man.
I like what I see. Thank you. Bye, guys.
We're looking for a guy just like you. You make a lot of money with a swing like that. That's
Completely made up scenario. Never happened. Got your buddy off screen.
It's pretty good.
That's good fun.
That is good fun. Well, that's the end of the episode.
Any shout outs?
Yeah, we do. But we had is there a slide dance clip? The guy doing the slide dance?
Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, but we've shown this before, so I don't know why you put this in here.
Oh, here he is. Guys, one last clip.
We've shown this type of dance before.
Well, it's that time of the year again.
Okay. There he is. He does the slide.
I don't understand. Can we play one more time?
Yeah, sure. I'm not impressed.
I let him come. Let him come. If he's illegal,
come where?
To America.
He's black. He's a black guy in America. He's probably.
He looks like he's from some other place.
Oh.
He's got like that soccer outfit.
Oh yeah, all the little cars. You're right. He looks Dominican or something.
Yeah.
No.
See, you show me something like that, you don't get deported.
You're still out of here.
Kristi Noem comes, and instead of deporting you, you guys can shoot an Instagram reel.
We're 30 million away from letting you in.
Yeah. Maybe at the end we'll let you stay if you.
We got Americans who can do that.
You think so?
100%. What are you talking about?
Do any show watchers know how to do that?
No.
I don't think so either.
It's a black thing.
And that's unfortunate. All right, before the show's over, happy birthday to Richard, who turns 42 on April 15th.
I'm Billy Richard here.
Yeah, him and Allison love the show, but it's not Richard's birthday.
Richard, what
it's
are you doing?
It's not Richard's birthday. I don't understand who I'm talking to.
I'm just kidding.
Happy birthday, Richard.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Ben, who turns 10 on Easter. Him and his dad, Zach, love the show. They're bonus landers, too. And then Ben always does his impression of the intro. All right, welcome back to Fuck Us Off the podcast. So Ben does the happy birthday, Ben. Happy 10th birthday.
Happy birthday, Ben.
All right, good stuff. Happy Friday, everybody. If you guys are still watching, you want 30 minutes of more show, FuckUsTalks.com. Bonus Land is where to get that.
And we're not talking about anything stiff in Bonus Land. We're loosening up.
Yeah,
this episode was, I don't know. There's a threshold.
The problem is, you guys know me. I judge an episode based on how funny it is. That's all I care about. Not all I care about, but that's like my favorite thing is when there's funny moments and funny bits and funny situations.
Yeah.
And when you do an episode that's like illegal immigrant rapist, a kid, Austin Metcalf,
the brewing race war,
a Florida State shooting, it's like it's tough to be fun in a situation like that. So if you guys felt like this episode was a little more serious than usual, not as funny, we're sorry about that. We'll make it up to you.
Yeah.
In bonus land.
Yeah, bonus land, I'm not doing anything serious.
Yeah, it's going to be nice and fun in bonus land. Thank you guys for watching. Have a nice weekend. We hope you like the longer episodes. That's a new change, and it's been going good with the algo, so long episodes are going to continue to come. We hope you guys enjoy them, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
And so I even asked Vince, I'm like, do I look like a Muppet?
Oh my God.